1, 2, 3, go.
That it?
Mm-hmm.
The American Party, Larry Moe and Curley were really part of that, and I'll explain to you about those people. They're great Americans. The presentation will be on the economy. It's going to take many segments to complete because we have a real mess here. In fact, we do not have an economy. It's that bad. The point I'm trying to say is that we have in our country today, everybody is talking about the same thing. They're called the talking heads, and that includes all the people in government. I mean all. They all have this the word jobs and all this, you know, all these things. They keep talking and talking and talking. You know, America was founded on two principles, head and hand. When you have both of those, you do things. Today, you have a system of government who only talks of things. They never get anything done. They have no capability of completing anything. There are no jobs coming from government to create jobs, period. Job creation comes from what I call, and strictly, from the private sector. It always has and always will be. The private sector is handicapped because it has to conform to with all the public services that are called our government, the agencies. There's an abundance of paperwork that creates more problems for the private sector to exist. So when we talk about job creation, they eliminate many of these programs from themselves because it's only put a handicap on the private sector group. I know what it was like to create a job. The pursuit of happiness is an illusion because it doesn't stand still. It's constantly moving, and we forget that. It's not like a job where someone says, here's a job for you, and no, thank you for coming in. All right? That's not how it's done. You have to go after it. And I mean, you really have to. You have to crawl and scratch your way to get it. And when you grab it, you can't hold on to the thing very long because it's always moving. So you have to move with it. That is the principle of pursuit of happiness. Everyone can do it if they choose to, but most will shy away from it. They like the handout from somebody else to create a job. And most people who go into public service love it because they really don't do anything in that service. All they do is talk. That's their whole job, is talking. And most of them talk about nothing. Nothing's ever done except more and more talk. I started out and I started 3 companies years ago. I started one was when I was about 17 years of age, and it didn't really work out well. I ran into the bureaucracy of all the regulations then, and that was a long time ago. Today I hear it's like 100 times more bureaucracy. The key element was to try to work within the system so that you could get ahead of the game. So maybe one day you'll be able to hire other people. Well, it doesn't always seem to work that way. So I failed. I failed when I was 17, and I failed again when I was 19. At 23, I finally found how to get about some things. I had to hire people. One person take care of the books, which were a mess all the time because all the forms, you know, it's just a real mess. Job creation is not an easy task. So the second and third time I failed. The third time I lasted a little bit longer, but ultimately it also failed. Now what I lost in this was money that I invested into what I was doing. The most important thing about job creation is the actual time you put in. That's your life. And you know what? You may be able to get the money back, but you won't get your life back. Guaranteed. It's called your genetic code will tell you how far you go. No more, no less. So, government cannot create jobs, period. And if we look at the ones they so-called created, Amtrak is a perfect example. Oh yeah, it's working so great for them. The railroads in our past were great, because they had a different idea of how to run the system. Not like today, it's just a bureaucratic furball out there. The post office, utter disaster, has been for a very, very long time. They can be replaced quite easily if you understand. We can do better than that. Why should we pay somebody $700,000 to create a mess? But we do because we're stupid. We allow this stuff to happen. We allow incompetence within our own government. And because the entire government is based on hypocrisy, they do not follow their own laws. And you found that out just recently also. I started out in looking at jobs and things years ago when I was about 6, 7 years of age. And I found the beginning of what I call the World War II. I was in that time frame. And I saw the manpower that was released into the private sector to build. And I mean build, we built everything. We supplied everything to every nation in the world that was our ally. We were the dominant force of that time frame. And we had lots of things going for us. We had the greatest manpower in the world. When I mean the industrial might, when I refer to the miners, God bless them all, from going under the ground and getting us our natural resources. Just think what that would be like to have that kind of job. But we have men that truly loved doing that. And they not only loved it for themselves, but they loved it for us, the rest of us Americans. And the American military we have, think of that. But the one I love the most, only because I have very close to that, is our farming people. They performed miracles during the Second World War. Do you realize they supplied not only our needs at home, but also the needs of most countries in the world during that time frame? We built an abundance of food stock. That is a miracle in itself. But the miracle is not only from the American people, basically, but what God created for us, this land we call our home, America. It is the most fertile of all lands anywhere in the world, because that is what made us great from the very, very beginning of time when we first came here. And that is something we've forgotten. We have forgotten who we are and where we can go. And if we forgot that, you'll never know where you're going to go. You're going to be walking around in a white ping pong ball and never see the exit. So we have to get back to the time where we really know who we are, what we're here to do, and do that. And then we can go forward. Now, I'm going to have to end that at this point in time. The next segment I'll bring up will have to do with, most importantly, I'll speak very briefly about Larry, Moe, and Curly. Great men, all. But more importantly, I'm going to tell you and introduce you to who will be the next President of the United States. I thank you for your help. Good afternoon.